Today is Monday, April 8, 2024. It's almost 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern, and we have a number of levels to trade against in the E-minis. And after the market closed on Friday in the pre-market last night, this morning, they've mostly gone sideways, a little higher. Currently, the spiders are at 519.80, and we will check back after the market closes to analyze all the trades taken at these levels. It is now after the closing bell, and while the spiders did hit this one level, pretty obvious, there was not a trade. So hopefully this video won't be too long, but let's just talk through why this was not a trade for me. The operating level was 518.40 for a long trade because after 9:45, spiders were up here, but they came down within 4 pennies, 4 cents at this 9:51 candle and pulled away enough to provide a base hit. And I don't mind taking that level again if enough time passes between the first time it comes up close on that near miss and they come back again, but they came back too soon and I wasn't willing to take it. Obviously it did work, and it worked. This level was important for the rest of the day. Actually, if you think about it, 518.50 right above this was our line in the sand on the weekly chart from a couple weeks ago. So still an important area. It wasn't a formula derived level today, but 518.40 was, or 518.35 was important in its own right. But let's just take a look at the recording and maybe you could learn a couple things. Specifically, the levels that were identified in real time. As I mentioned earlier, maybe you can kind of go back if you're interested and try to figure out where they came from. But what's relevant now is after 9:45 a.m., which you can see the clock running, they were on their way back down into 518.40. And you'll see them come up short. I'll just move ahead here a little bit. There we go. So there's my profit target, 40 cents in the SPY, equivalent of 4 points roughly in the E-minis, where I'm going. If had this triggered, I would have pulled exactly 4 points out of the E-minis, but they went up really quickly a few minutes later, and I have this line dashed to let me know that I'm willing to take it if enough time elapses between this first attempt and another time in the future. But they came back sooner than I would like to see, as I've already said. So when I scrub ahead, you'll see them come back down, and I'll make the line dotted just to say, okay, it's satisfied. I never entered the trade. I was going to buy 2 contracts there. So that never happened. Never got into that trade. And as they kind of came down where they sort of hovered on this level here, I identified these 2 areas here. There's 2 levels that would create a zone for another long trade, or another chance at a long trade if they came down here. But they ultimately end up going higher. And then I identified a level there at 520.40 to start selling. And that would have created a zone as well, but they kind of consolidated here for a while. Didn't get a whole lot higher than that little spike there. And I had to head out by 11:30 or so anyway. So anyway, incidentally, that's the green line is a profit objective. I was going to sell like 1 contract here and sell another if they got up higher, scale into a position, but that never happened. But the green line would be the 40 cents or the equivalent of 4 points in the E-minis if they had gone up to 520.40 and triggered a short trade. Didn't happen. They fell down. So I canceled that pending trigger order and closed up shop around 11:30. And for me, that was nothing, or that was it. Nothing happened for me. But later in the day, you can look and see that they did respect that number at 518.40 several times during the day. But as far as my levels, those were the only ones, or that was the only one that was hit, and it did not produce any trades for me today. So ended on the flat line today. And we can just take a quick look at the daily chart before we go to the log, just to show you where we're at in the big picture. So still below this channel, they're staying above the 20-period moving average, just kind of hovering and fighting that 518.50 level that we looked at. And very low volume today. I think was 48 million shares roughly, well below the average. This is the 90-day moving average for the SPY daily chart. So anyway, very flat day overall. A quick look at the log just to show there was no trades triggered, and there's no difference in the tracking log compared to the trades at all levels if you were playing by the rules, whether I traded it or not, and then the trades that I took. So no difference there, but you can see the differences in the daily averages and totals if you want to make a note of that. So that's what I've got for today. Hope you found this interesting, helpful, maybe learned something. I know it was kind of a boring, flat day, but it happens sometimes. Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate those who have. And, if you want to provide any feedback, I'm all ears. Thanks and have a great day.